The museum curator's hands trembled as he unsealed the vault. Director Voss had forbidden anyone from entering Sector 7 for 2 centuries, but the old fool was dead now. And curiosity gnawed at Marcus like acid. The chamber beyond held a single display. A woman suspended in crystalline stasis, her armor black as the void between stars. In her gaunted hands rested a sword longer than Marcus was tall, its blade rippling with colors that shouldn't exist. The plaque read simply, War Bride Kale, Thraxian Empire. Do not disturb. Marcus had studied the Thraxian Empire in Academy, a civilization that had conquered 400 systems before humanity even discovered fire. They'd vanished 3,000 years ago, leaving only ruins and warnings. The war brides had been their ultimate weapons, women bonded to sentient blades, capable of destroying fleets single-handedly. This one must have been a museum piece, even when Earth was young. He circled the stasis field, drinking in details. Her face held an ageless quality, beautiful and terrible. Scars traced her neck and jawline. Her armor bore dents that would have killed lesser beings. The sword hummed faintly, a sound felt more than heard. The console beside the display flickered to life as Marcus approached. Ancient warnings scrolled across the screen in 17 dead languages. He recognized Thraxian script from his studies. Bonded, warrior in hibernation. Life signs minimal. Blade remains active. Lethal response protocols engaged. Below that, in newer text, under no circumstances should the stasis field be disrupted. The subject has killed 4,127 beings across 89 worlds. She was placed in suspension after refusing to stand down following the Empire's collapse. Approach is forbidden. Marcus should have left. Every instinct screamed at him to reseal the vault and forget what he'd seen. Instead, he studied the console's architecture. The stasis field ran on fusion cells that were failing. In another decade, maybe 2, it would collapse on its own. Better to do it now, under controlled conditions. Better to document what happened when a war bride woke after 2 centuries of sleep. He told himself these lies as his fingers danced across the controls. The field flickered once, twice, then died with a sound like reality tearing. Nothing happened. Marcus released a breath he hadn't known he was holding. Of course, nothing happened. 200 years in stasis would kill anything. The woman was probably her eyes opened. They were silver, bright as starlight, and they fixed on Marcus with the intensity of a targeting laser. She didn't move otherwise. Didn't breathe. Just stared. I mean no harm, Marcus said, raising his hands. I'm a researcher. Human. From Earth. Do you understand me? The woman's lips moved. Her voice came out as a rasp, words in a language that predated his species. The sword in her hands pulsed, and suddenly Marcus understood her perfectly. Why did you wake me? The blade was translating. Of course it was. A weapon designed to let its wielder communicate with any prey. Your stasis field was failing, Marcus said, which was true enough. I wanted to help. Those silver eyes narrowed. Liar, you wanted to see if the monster would wake. You wanted to witness something terrible. She wasn't wrong. The war bride rose smoothly from the display platform, armor chiming softly. She stood a head shorter than Marcus, but radiated such menace that he stumbled backward. The sword came up, point aimed at his throat. The Empire? She asked. Gone. 3,000 years ago? My sisters? All dead or lost, as far as we know. Something flickered in those silver eyes. Pain, perhaps. Or relief. Then my duty is complete. The blade swept toward Marcus's neck. He didn't think. Training from his mandatory military service kicked in, and he threw himself forward inside the swing's arc. His hand closed on the sword's hilt above hers. The world exploded. Marcus found himself standing on a battlefield that stretched to every horizon. The sky burned. Mountains of corpses surrounded him. In the distance, a city collapsed into plasma fire. "You see what I am," the war bride's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. "What I was made to be. The Thraxians bred us in vats, bonded us to living weapons, and sent us to conquer. I killed thousands, tens of thousands. I cannot even remember their faces." Marcus saw it all through her eyes. Battles on worlds he couldn't name. The sword singing in her hands, cleaving through armor and flesh with equal ease. The emptiness that grew with every victory. The slow realization that the empire she served deserved to fall. "I tried to stop," her voice continued. "When the empire collapsed, when the rebellion succeeded, I tried to put down my blade. But we were made too well. The bond cannot be broken. The sword will not let me die." The vision shifted. Marcus saw the war bride standing in the ruins of a temple, surrounded by the bodies of those who tried to kill her. Her sisters, one by one, had found ways to end themselves, thrown themselves into stars, walked into black holes, shattered their own minds until nothing remained. She'd lacked the courage, so she'd chosen sleep instead, hoping time would succeed where her will had failed. "And now you've woken me," she said. The battlefield faded. Marcus found himself back in the vault, his hand still on the sword above hers. To what purpose, human? He should have said something clever, something diplomatic. Instead, the truth spilled out. "I don't know. I just couldn't let you disappear." Her eyes searched his face. Foolish, sentimental, weak, probably. "The last person who touched this blade, I cut in half. I'm aware of that now." She tilted her head, studying him like an alien specimen. "You're terrified. I can feel your heart racing through the bond. Yet you haven't let go." Marcus realized she was right. His hand remained on the hilt, feeling the weapon's pulse beneath his palm. It sang to him, showing him 1,000 ways to kill, 1,000 battles yet to conduct. It was the most terrifying and exhilarating thing he'd ever felt. "Let me show you something," he said. The war bride's eyes narrowed. But she didn't pull away as Marcus led her through the vault and into the museum proper. Dawn light streamed through massive windows. Beyond lay Earth's capital city, spires reaching toward a blue sky. "This is humanity's home world," Marcus said. "We're young as species go. We've barely left our own system, but we've studied everyone who came before. The Thraxians, the Vernex Collective, the Silent Emperors. We learn from the dead." He gestured to the exhibits surrounding them. Artifacts from 100 vanished civilizations, each one labeled and studied and preserved. We remember. That's what we do. We make sure nothing is forgotten, no matter how terrible or beautiful. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to sleep. You could just be remembered. The war bride stood silent for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft. "I have killed more beings than live in your entire city. I know. I am not a person. I am a weapon that learned to weep." "You're both," Marcus said. "Isn't that what makes you worth remembering?" She laughed then, a sound like breaking glass. The sword lowered slowly. "What is your name, human?" "Marcus, Marcus." She tested the word. "I am Kale. For 200 years I have slept. And in waking, I find the universe is filled with creatures foolish enough to touch cursed blades and wise enough to remember what they should fear." She released the sword. It clattered to the floor between them, still humming softly. "Perhaps your species will survive after all," Kale said. "You have the one quality the Thraxians lacked." "What's that?" "The ability to look at monsters and see people." Marcus stared at the sword lying between them. at the woman who had carried it across centuries and worlds. At the choice implicit in this moment, he could reseal the vault. Return Kale to sleep. Let time finish what it started. Or he could do the human thing. The foolish, sentimental, dangerous thing. He bent down and picked up the sword.